before we get into the world SITREP, let's talk about the Homestead SITREP. Cows have hay and feed and water. Sheep have hay and feed and water. Bottle baby has been bottle fed, and three roosters that need to be culled have been identified for the L double tapo. So, good to go. Now, world SITREP. Good morning, Tony Homesteader. We're going to talk just a little bit this morning about what's going on with Ukraine and Russia and NATO, and a scotch about what's happening with the UN, interestingly, and Germany and Europe and their energy crisis, and Taiwan and China and the Olympics. Mark Ivy. Good morning, Mark Ivy. So, lots to dive into here. The brief portion is brief. Bear Independent Brief, 26 January 22. Last year, 2 major cyber attacks were linked to Russian-based groups. The Colonial Pipeline attack, right, because do you even Nord Stream, bro? And the JBS attack. The year before that was the SolarWinds incident, which has been blamed on Russian Foreign Intelligence Service. The best words, tremendous, the Russian Foreign Intelligence Service. Last week, the Ukrainian government, their servers were attacked, taking down government websites and leaving a message warning Ukrainians to be afraid and expect the worst. Let me reiterate that again. Ukrainian government websites were hacked, and instead of, oh, welcome to ukraine.gov, or whatever their home screen flash would have been, it said, be afraid and expect the worst. That's not ominous at all. That prompted the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, or CISA, to issue an alert. I think the Intel nerds call it CISA. Whatever, I don't know, Storms will tell us. Now the Department of Homeland Security has warned that the U.S. could be the target of a cyber attack from Russia. Good morning, Dr. Trevor Wilkins, the Angry Viking Therapist. Y'all go subscribe to that channel, by the way. There's a reason he's a blue wrench here. He knows his stuff, okay? I mean, for real though, like, honestly, let's pause the brief momentarily and take a moment to talk about mental health. A lot of us have done very stressful things. We've seen things and done things that many other people haven't done, or we've been through life experiences. Whether you're a bus driver or a door kicker, you probably got some stuff that needs to be unpacked. I'm telling you, the Angry Viking Therapist, Dr. Trevor Wilkins, he's a blue wrench right there in the chat. Brother of mine, awesome friend, great channel. Go check him out. Now, back to, and see, look, you're going to need the moves he's going to teach you when it's warheads on foreheads time, right? So preventative maintenance, there you go. The Intelligence and Analysis Bulletin read, we assess that Russia would consider initiating a cyber attack against the homeland. I love how we now refer to the United States of America as the homeland. Can we get more communist propaganda terminology, please? We assess that Russia would consider initiating a cyber attack against das Homeland if it perceived the U.S. or NATO could respond to a possible Russian invasion of Ukraine, which threatened its long-term national security. Good morning. I got gloves on. Hard for me to hit the chat. Preppernet, good morning. Thank you for the $5 bill. I saw you in the comments on the gas mask video. I appreciate you, bro. Yeah, and gas masks are questionably fun. If you haven't seen that video, go watch that. They're questionably fun. They're not. First of all, if you are adorned facially like I am, forget about it. Okay. Next, most of the people who think that they're going to be putting on a gas mask and going to do the things probably aren't. If you get out of breath going from your driveway to your front door, the gas mask life is not for you. So appreciate you, Preppernet. Can we do the brief? Should we just table the brief and just hang out? We assess that Russia would consider initiating a cyber attack against the homeland if it perceived a U.S. or NATO response to a possible Russian invasion of Ukraine threatened its long-term national security. And Russia maintains a range of offensive cyber tools, offensive cyber tools that it could employ against U.S. networks, from low-level denials of service to destructive attacks targeting critical infrastructure. It becomes painfully obvious in the past few years that U.S. organizations and even critical infrastructure are all too vulnerable, but the current U.S. president, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., hasn't exactly helped. The Boston Herald pointed out that he handed Putin a list of 16 critical U.S. infrastructure sector entities to be made off limits to attack. Instead of saying, "Don't attack us," he gave us a list of things to not attack. Right? Because that's negotiating from a position of strength, right? Including pipelines, agricultural plants, and water and sewage treatment plants, aka critical infrastructure. Interestingly, some of the sanctions the Biden administration is considering, should Russia cross the line, would affect the technology sector, cutting off microelectronics produced on U.S. equipment or with U.S. software and technology. Another complication, should cyber warfare erupt, can be seen in the example of NotPetya incident, in which multiple international corporations were affected. One company, Merck, you might have heard of them, they're kind of big, Merck, filed a claim to recoup the cost, but Merck's insurance claim was rejected on the grounds that the attack was essentially an act of war, aka cyber warfare. That attack alone caused over $10 billion in damages worldwide, affecting shipping and logistics organizations across the globe. And we've talked previously in previous briefs about the strategic importance of Ukraine, one of which being they have the fourth largest IT industry in the world, behind the United States, China, and India, I believe. And so if you're into cyber attacks, controlling all of the people and infrastructure in Ukraine that are good at cyber attacks could be a thing. Hot coffee, anybody? I need some. Oh my gosh, he's loogieing, he's slurping. Yeah, he's a real person. From RT.com, again, Russian propaganda, but you know, it's all propaganda, folks. We just try to ascertain whose political skew we're dealing with when we read all this different intelligence, okay? From RT, Russian warships chart course for major drills in the Black Sea. Why is this important? Mark Connor is here. Good morning, Mark Connor. Do we have our map? Success is when opportunity meets preparation. Ta-da! I know, the most high-speed channel ever, right? The Black Sea is down here. Here's the Crimean Peninsula. Here is Ukraine. Here is Russia. Here is Belarus, and here is Poland, okay? So this Black Sea down here, by the way, this is Turkey, and you get to the Black Sea through the Straits of Turkey, right here, the Turkish Straits, which connects the Mediterranean Sea over here to the Black Sea over here. Russia is taking 20 ships from way up here, okay, the Baltic Sea, and bringing them down here to the Black Sea. Shut up, chicken. To the Black Sea, 20 ships for now naval exercises in response to the NATO ships that are over here under Director General Jens Stoltenberg of NATO over here in the Med, including the United States Harry S. Truman Carrier Strike Group. We'll leave this map out where we can get at it here in a moment. So, Russia warships chart course for major drills in the Black Sea. A fleet of more than 20 Russian warships and support vessels has set sail for exercises in the Black Sea amid rising tensions with NATO in Eastern Europe. I'm sure it's just a coincidence. It's no big deal, right? Thank you, Arthur Robertson. I show up for the intel, but I stay for the best production. I've told you, I'm pretty sure the best compliment I've ever got at this channel is you have the best information with the worst production value. Thank you. Jason M says, Bear, let's face the facts. It's the reptilian overlords again. You know, it is actually, in all honesty, if we just use reptilian overlords as a euphemism for they, the powers that be, it totally is. Because as we're going to see as we continue in the brief here, this is just business as usual. And this business is warfare. It's just business as usual. Good morning, Thrifty VG. Shalom, brother. The Ministry of Defense in Moscow confirmed on Wednesday that the task force, which includes frigates, missile boats, minesweepers, and amphibious assault vessels, had left the port in Sevastopol and Novorossiysk on the country's southern coast. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce that. The ships will practice maneuvering and repelling aerial attacks among other combat skills. Blah, 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 blah. The drill takes place at the same time as maneuvers by the Russian Northern Fleet in the Barents Sea against a backdrop of heightened tension between Russia and NATO over the border with Ukraine. Moscow has been seeking written assurances that Kiev will be barred from joining the US-led bloc. So Moscow doesn't want Ukraine to join NATO. Ukraine, at least some of the powers that be in Ukraine, the duly elected leadership of Ukraine wants to join NATO, specifically because when Russia comes across their border and schwacks their pee-pee, they want NATO to schwack Russia's pee-pee back. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg has said that the demands are unacceptable, but expressed hope that the two sides can find a way to de-escalate the current situation. That's a great idea. Let's all keep piling equipment, manpower, and materiel in each other's backyards while we talk about de-escalation. That's great. It's like you and I, we share a fence on our property, right? And I've got 100 guys over here with ARs pointed at you, and you've got 100 guys over there with AKs pointed at us. And we're like, hey man, maybe we should talk this out. By the way, I got 1,000 more guys coming. And you're like, I don't know, we should think about talking this out. And I got 2,000 more guys coming. And I'm like, that's cool. We should definitely talk this out. We're bringing in some guns and tanks and bombs and planes as well. And so it's great. We should totally have a conversation about that. And they're like, yeah, you know what? You're right. Also, I call my buddies at the Cajun Navy, and they're going to be coming up this river over here with about 4,000 more guys. I'm like, that's great. We should totally talk this out. Did I mention I have access to nuclear weapons? They're like, yeah, we should totally talk this out. By the way, we don't care if we all die. Yeah, great negotiation, right? Great tactic here. And so, takeaway from this article, 20 additional Russian ships heading from the Baltics down to the Black Sea. Mad, mutually assured destruction, Dragon Keeper 1990. That is Correcto Mundo. This was interesting. Also from RT, Germany asks for energy sector to be excluded from the Russian sanctions. Germany has reportedly demanded that proposed sanctions against Russia over the crisis in Ukraine do not include restrictions on energy, insisting that the sector be exempted if measures are taken to block banks' access to the US dollar. Now remember, Germany is not sending equipment, they're not sending manpower, they're not sending materiel to the conflict with Ukraine at all. They are also encouraging anybody who will listen to not do the same thing. They're like, do not send anything to Ukraine, do not support Ukraine. Germany is basically cucking for Russia on this one because of the European energy crisis. And so now Germany has gone before the EU and has said, yo, if we get into a big fighty fight with Russia, if we're going to put, Morning the Watchman, if we're going to put sanctions on Russia, could we please no hurty the energy? Please no hurty energy, right? Yeah, that's an indicator. This is according to Bloomberg. The EU and the US are currently working on a package of measures designed to deter Russia from considering a military incursion into Ukraine, as Moscow stands accused of placing 100,000 troops on the border, blah, blah, blah. Some claiming Kremlin is planning to attack, blah, blah, blah. During discussions for potential measures against Moscow, Germany has reportedly insisted that without an exemption for emergency transactions, oil and gas supplies to Europe could be seriously threatened. We are aware of this. Now, takeaway here for you is if you're in Europe, hey, fuel's going to become even more scarce and even more expensive. If you're in the United States, hey, fuel's going to become even more expensive and more scarce. By the way, do yourself a favor and look up the numbers on our strategic oil reserves. Not great. It's not great right now. Why? Because we have Democrats in power. Ooh, did I say that out loud? Oops. So Germany is asking the EU and the United States, hey, if we're going to sanction Russia, let's leave the energy alone, okay? Germans just can't resist gas. Wow, Jason M. Schmidt, a day after the gas mask review, that's just crazy, bro. This was interesting from justsecurity.org, talking about the United Nations. Where has the United Nations been in all of this? And it's a long, verbose article that has very little intel value, other than perhaps a couple of paragraphs right here. The United States and its allies will most probably follow a similar playbook this year if war comes. Their goal will not be to stop the conflict. Again, let's repeat. The United States and its allies, their goal will not be to stop the conflict. We're talking Russia and Ukraine here, which will require negotiations far away from New York, but to shame Moscow. Russia, which holds the Security Council's rotating presidency in February, could try to block the council from discussing the issue. We're not even going to talk about it, right? Like Russia, literally on the world stage, could pull one of those, like, we're not even going to talk about it. As long as 9 members back a meeting, the U.S. can force a procedural vote on the matter to which the veto does not apply. So we're not going to try and stop the war. We're just going to shame Russia for engaging in the war because it's business as usual. It's business as usual. The United Nations is a joke. I saw somebody commented that earlier. The goal here at this point, per this article with the United Nations, is not to stop the war. It's to shame Russia for starting it in the first place. Oh, that's a strategy. And by the way, in February, Russia holds the presidency of the Security Council. The Security Council in February, which is like what, 5 days away? Russia holds the presidency for the UN Security Council because I'm sure security is what's on the top of their mind right now. So everybody else is going to take up a vote to shame Russia for starting a war. Morning, Arkansas living. Right. Yay, UN. That's awesome. Way to go. Now, Russia, Ukraine, China, also from RT. Ukrainian general names possible date for Russian invasion. There's no new intel in here, but there was an interesting paragraph. In an interview published in a British newspaper, The Times, on Saturday, Lieutenant General Alexander Pavluk said that the incursion could be staged in the days following the Winter Olympics, due to be held in Beijing next month. February 20th is a date that concerns us, quote, he said, arguing that Russian President Vladimir Putin would likely want to avoid offending China by overshadowing the games with a war. Now let's all just take a big picture step back here and think about that statement. The president of Russia doesn't want to offend the air quote they're all air quote presidents. The air quote president of the U.S., the air quote president of Russia, and the air quote president of China are all interested in not offending one another, although we might shame them on the world stage. The air quote president of Russia does not want to air quote offend the air quote president of China by starting a war while his country, the Chinese president's country, is hosting the Olympics. Doesn't want to offend him. Y'all, this is business as usual. This is just business as usual. That's all it is, right? The report from Iron Mountain Military Industrial Complex. We don't want to upset China by doing our profitable war thing while they're doing their profitable Olympics thing. Really, bro? That one paragraph just jumped out at me. The rest of this article is complete fluff. The rest of this article goes all the way back to, we don't know when they're going to go, but they probably want to go soon because once the ground in Ukraine thaws out, tank mobility is going to go to shit. And also because of the Olympics, bro, they have a short window of time. But Vladimir Putin would likely want to avoid offending China by overshadowing the games, the Olympic Games, with a war. That's interesting. Something else you're not going to see on the mainstream news, although our buddy Brasmy, Brasmy on Instagram, what's up Brasmy, has been posting a lot about this lately in Canada, our neighbors to the north. Our very friendly, polite, super friendly, awesome, non-confrontational neighbors to the north. From freightwaves.com, truckers angry over jabby jabbity jab jabs roll towards Canada's capital in protest. I'm gonna kill you. Yes, you. See that gray one right there? That's the one. That's the one. My wife is like, no, he's got fluffy feet. We should keep him. He's so nice. Stand by. If you're wondering, like, do I need one of these for the homestead? The answer is yes. Yes, you need one of these for the homestead. All right. I also need more air. All right, back to the news. Truckers angry over jabbity jabs roll towards Canada's capital in protest. Quote, I'm literally going to lose my truck, my house, my car, my savings, says unjabified owner operator. Truck drivers in Canada are slow rolling in convoys across the country to protest the man, two guys on a date at the U.S. border with plans to converge at the capital, Ottawa, on Saturday. Among them will be Ontario owner-operator Bridget Belton, who until recently regularly moved freight between the Estados Unidos and Canada. Since Saturday, she and other drivers who haven't been vaccinated against the have been barred from crossing the border. I'm literally going to lose my truck, my house, my car, my savings, and live in a cardboard box. Well, I agree you have every right to earn an income, but I also agree that Proverbs is real and a debtor is a slave to their debt. So that's something to think about. The point here is there are hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people up there in Canada who are like super pissed right now. And there are big rigs, trucks, cars driving down the road protesting right now. And it's not getting the coverage that it should get because it doesn't fit with the mainstream narrative. Oh, did you also notice that they very quietly, the big they, very quietly admitted in a study out of Israel that natural immunity is more effective than that thing? Yeah, they most certainly did. Is the tide turning? I hope so. Are people going to quit cucking for their government? Are they going to quit screaming, govern me harder, daddy? And they're like, I don't know, our freedom of speech is being impinged. And it's like, yeah, you let the government put a ball gag in your mouth and bend you over. What did you think was going to happen? Oh, but I digress. All the metaphors and euphemisms. I got work to do today. I told you all I was going to tell you about the pocket. I'm going to tell you about the pocket. What's the pocket? It's the pocket. This is mine. It's a little rough around the edges, but this is the pocket. And you know what it is? You know what this is? This is a crude marketing scheme to sell you just the insert from the SOB pouch at Refuge Medical. Mostly because so many of y'all asked, because I've been carrying this around in my pocket, okay? And so if you also have in your pocket a tourniquet like this one, and you have this, you have a comprehensive blowout kit right here, bro. Okay, so this is a soft tee, and this is the pocket. And it's the insert out of an SOB, which you can now buy just by itself from refugemedical.com. Yeah, and you can see the tag right there, made in the USA. And what does it have in here? Mine has a decompression needle. You can add that at checkout if you want. And it's got a Sharpie, and it's got some gloves, and it's got a pair of compact high-fin chest seals, and it's got combat gauze, and it's got compressed gauze, and it's got some fold flat duct tape. So everything you need for massive bleeding, airway, respiratory, circulation, good to go. And it's got a little tiny compact emergency trauma bandage right here, mini compression bandage from H&H. It's all in there, ready to go. It fits in a cami pocket of your pants or a cargo pocket. Nope, like, dude, it's like that big, okay? Like, it's little itty bitty, right? It's smaller than my hand is. Fits in a cargo pocket, no problem. It also fits in the front pocket of your not, the artist formerly known as Carhartt jacket. See where the patch should be right here, but isn't anymore because we support all freedoms, including medical freedoms. So that's the pocket right there. It's in the store at refugemedical.com. As always, you can use promo code BearNation. You get free shipping on all the things. Check out the Bear Fact 3.0. I just told you about that on Monday. And I told you I was going to do a thing about buckets. If you need to get buckets now. The rooster's going to need more than a tourniquet. T-Jack Survival, shalom, bro, ha. So this is the pocket. And again, it fits in a cargo pocket, no problem. Fits in a coat pocket, no problem. It also fits in an SOB pouch, which you can also get at Refuge Medical because that's what it's designed to go into. And then I'm going to give you guys, this is not a sales pitch. This is just to let you know. This is a bare minimum pouch. I want you to listen very carefully. Hear that? What does that sound like? What could that be? What is it? I'll tell you what it is. This is a bare minimum pouch. And yes, PrepperNet, it's a canteen cup. And some weatherproof matches. And an Ontario Knife Company Rat 1 folder. And some fire tabs. And a Sawyer mini filter. And water treatment tabs. And an SOL bivy bag. And some waxed bank line, and an emergency blanket, and a little survival kit, fishing kit, and a little sewing kit. And I don't remember what the hell else is in here, but it's like all the things you need. It's a little survival pouch, all inside of a bare minimum pack. So let's do some market research real quick. Y'all think that's cool? I think it's cool. If you guys think it's cool and you want me to like put this together and make it a thing, I'll put it together and make it a thing. If you don't, I'll just keep this one. But what do you think? Oh yeah, Jay Morse, you can put coffee in there. Sandra likes it. Yankee Watchdog likes it. Nice. Make it a thing. Roger that. Make it a thing. Do it. Make it a thing. Yup. Okay, cool. Xiaomi, Roger, Dustin Hall, yes, good morning. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, there's quarters in there. There's bank line, man. Nice. Make her a thing. Does it have a cigar? It doesn't, but you could add one if you wanted to. Sarah Hoskins, bless you, sister. You're working overtime. All right. Let's talk to our creator and go about our day. Mark O'Connor, Bear Loves Cot Lumber back. Oh, good morning, Father Yah. You are awesome. Father, thank you for all the people within the sound of my voice, and thank you for the sunshine, and thank you for another day that we are alive and we are well, and that we get to walk the face of this earth and be your hands and be your feet, and Father, do the things that you convict us to do. Father, I pray that your light would shine down upon us, that you would give us your peace, that you would give us your shalom this day, that you would send your Ruach HaKodesh, your Holy Spirit, for wisdom and discernment and for strength to withstand everything that's coming, and for power and authority in your name. Father, for healing for those that need it, and Father, for comfort for those that need it, and that you would just continue to convict us to be your people and put us where you need us, Father, and make our spines rigid and our backs straight and our chins forward. Father, that you would equip us to be your people. that you would allow us to stand up to unrighteousness, that you would put us in positions where we can bring glory to your name and put a smile on your face. And I ask that you would just continue to tarry with us, Father, that even as this world continues to go to hell in a handbasket, that you would be near to us. Father, thank you for today. Father, thank you for these people, and Father, thank you for the best job in the world. I ask these things in Yeshua's name. Amen. Bless y'all. Have an awesome day. I got to go to the office and meet with my badass people there about some things. I appreciate y'all. Thank you for supporting the channel. Thank you for supporting our small businesses. Pray for that rooster. He gonna die. Bless y'all. Shalom.